Welcome. How are you doing today? The person behind me just honked because I slowed down and got into the oncoming lane because there was a pack of like 5 fucking dogs in the street that I didn't want to run over. I don't think they know how things work, but dogs don't understand traffic honks. If they did understand things like that, they probably wouldn't be in the fucking street in the first place, because they would know, oh shoot, we're not supposed to be here, it's dangerous. Fucking jackass. There's something that I've kind of wanted to talk about, but when I started talking about it in a different video, I pretty much edited it all out, because the video was like half an hour long, and the first 15 minutes of it was me talking about psychiatric issues and diagnoses, and then the second half was like me just bitching about completely unrelated YouTube shit. So I just I cut the psych bullshit out. I've been diagnosed multiple times, so I really don't want to hear any unsolicited advice. I make videos because I want to talk. And I kind of, I went on a Twitter tear a month or two ago when I got re-diagnosed, and someone saw it and felt the need to DM me unsolicited advice, and they're a really, really sweet person. I really appreciated the kindness and support that they were offering, but I didn't need it. So I first started seeking psychiatric help when I was 13, and over the past, I think, 4 years, I've had 5 or 6 different, oh god, it's gotta be more than that, mental health professionals. I've had a bunch over the past couple years, because I found 2 of them that I did really like, but they both left their jobs, so I couldn't see them anymore. One of them I sought out because I read up on her online, and she looked like someone who would be great, so I made the appointment. And my first session with her, she was like, "This is my last week at this practice, so I'll never see you again." Why did they let me book that fucking appointment? I specifically requested that woman. So I had to find somebody else, and she had a good write-up in Psychology Today or something, and so I was like, all right, cool, I'll go see her. And she was horrible in so many ways. But every time you have to see a new psych professional, you have to go through the full diagnostic, right? Oh my god, my sunscreen is still showing. Holy shit. Just cover that back up. Okay. So we go through the full diagnostic, and she says, I think you might be a little bit bipolar. And I, in that moment, was fucking annoyed and pissed off that she would say that, because I know that I'm crazy, but I didn't think that bipolar fit my type of crazy. I felt like that's a different type of crazy, and I don't feel like it accurately describes my special brand of crazy. And she said, well, yeah, what if you are bipolar? Would that be the worst thing in the world? And I said, no. And she recommended a book to me. It's a book about soft bipolar disorder. Soft bipolar. And I bought the book. I didn't even finish the first chapter because I was just sobbing. I can't tell you if it was a good book or not, but I'm willing to bet it's bad, because it made me so emotional that I couldn't get into it. And because she was insane and manipulative and would just refuse to refill my medications for weird reasons, she didn't believe in therapy. She asked if I wanted therapy, and I said yes, and she said, well, I don't believe in that, but I can provide coaching. I should have noped. But I went to a couple coaching sessions with her, and in the very first one, I was in a very vulnerable, fucked up headspace, and she used the entire appointment to tell me all about her narcissist ex-husband, and she went on to convince me that my boyfriend doesn't love me, and he never has and he never will, but it's not my fault because my boyfriend is a sociopath. And I spent 2 weeks in this like surreal headspace, I guess, where I was trying to like come to terms with and accept that I was in love with someone who could never love me back. And that was horrible. Anyway, at the end of those 2 weeks, I was like, yeah, fuck that, I'm lovable. What an idiot. Fuck her. So, I've seen a couple other people since her, and I've been seeing, it's all been phone appointments because of the pandemic, but I've been seeing this woman now since like March, and she recently said, because I'd been really, really depressed for like 2 months, and she was like, what's going on? What's your deal? And I was like, I have a mood disorder. This just, it happens. It won't last forever. It'll go away, but it is what it is. And she's like, yeah, but like, that's what I'm treating you for, so like, this is... And I was talking to her about how my boyfriend thinks I'm a hypochondriac. Like, when I first found out I have PCOS, he called me a hypochondriac. And I was like, dude, I saw the ultrasound of my ovaries, and I got it confirmed with a blood test just to make sure. And how he like full on, like I spent 2 years trying to come to terms with my soft bipolar diagnosis, right? And when I told my dad didn't believe me. And when I told my boyfriend didn't believe me. And also, like, again, called me a hypochondriac. So, yeah, telling my psych person about this, she said, like, you know, Dave, yeah, like, I gotta tell you, like, I don't think you have bipolar disorder. And she was, like, very tiptoeing careful about telling me this. And I was like, really? Okay, well, what's wrong with me? And she was like, well, you can debate this with me if you want, if you feel differently. And I was like, no, you're the fucking professional. What is your diagnosis for me? And she said, you have major depressive disorder with mixed features. Which, yeah, before I'd been diagnosed with soft bipolar, I thought I just had depression and like kind of a bad personality. And major depressive disorder with mixed features, I mean, that is kind of the same. So, you know, I took her diagnosis to be kind of exactly what I thought my soft bipolar was, but it's because someone gave me a name for what I was feeling, and I thought, okay, that's it. Well, now I have a different name for what I'm feeling. The only difference is soft fucking bipolar disorder isn't real. I don't know. Man, because I really couldn't find anything online about soft bipolar at the time, so all I had was that book that I bought that fucking psych nut job recommended to me. And my current psych was like, yeah, like, there's a like diagnostic checklist. You don't meet enough of the criteria for bipolar disorder. You either have a diagnosis or you don't. You don't sort of have bipolar disorder. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. You don't sort of have a diagnosis. You don't sort of have a diagnosis. Oh my God. So yes, I spent 2 years trying to come to terms with something that I didn't really identify with. You know, after I got diagnosed with bipolar, I waited an entire year before I told anyone, because I didn't want people to be afraid of me, because I know the way that some people like talk about and characterize the disorder, you know, like how, you know how like schizophrenia is often portrayed as if it's all paranoid schizophrenia, like to an extreme level, and the way that like people see like Kanye West as like a poster child or like a great, like, I don't know, example of a bipolar disorder. I mean, he's type 1 for sure. But like, his episodes have like psychotic features. And I'm not saying that as an insult. Like, that is the clinical term that would be used to characterize certain traits that he espouses. Espouses? I don't think that's the right word. Oh good, we have traffic this morning. This is the first time we've had morning traffic since the pandemic started. So yeah, I guess that's really all I wanted to say. I have an accurate diagnosis now that's real. God. Please don't give me any advice. I just wanted to talk about this. I want to thank you for listening. I feel like forgiveness is very important, so I want you to forgive yourself for the time that you've wasted watching this video. And have a good day!